Hello, VC, Michael, Clash City Rocker, to discuss with you the incredibly subjective topic of what is the best band of all time? What is the greatest band of all time? What's your favorite band of all time if you had to pick? What are you currently obsessed with in terms of music? What band do you think is just overrated? And probably every band can fit that. Which band is probably underrated? And then finally, which band is misunderstood? So before I begin, thank you. I've really enjoyed making these videos, and I really appreciate the people who have subscribed. It's a sign that what I'm doing is enjoyed by the VC, the vinyl community, that you appreciate these discussions I've been having about music. I appreciate the likes. I particularly appreciate the comments. Please comment on the videos. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Recommendations that you have for music, other videos, etc. Again, I'm just sharing my musical experience, my collection, or at least the collection I have now. But this video about the greatest, the best, and the favorite bands started last year at work, where I love these kinds of conversations. These are kind of like bar room conversations. Like, what's your favorite band? What's the greatest band of all time? What's the best band? And you're kind of parsing terms when you're talking about best and greatest. So I turned to good old-fashioned AI, and yes, I have my high-tech props as usual. It says best and greatest are both used to indicate a high degree of quality, but greatest implies a broader and more lasting impact or recognition. Best is more about being the superior choice or example within a specific context, while greatest often suggests a legacy and lasting influence. So the way I'm looking at it, though, is best is just like the band that probably universally is viewed as the best, the greatest, the best. Greatest, however, for me is the one that you individually, personally, subjectively think is the greatest. So I reached out to music-loving colleagues, and I found 10 of them at work, ranging in ages from the 30s to the 50s, two in the 50s, about the other half, and about 4 in the 30s, 4 in the 40s. I'm obviously the oldest of the lot, but I thought I would give them a head start. So what I did was I came up with my list of the best, the greatest, as I'm fumbling for my papers again. So here you go, high-tech prop, the best band of all time, the greatest band of all time, my favorite band of all time, my current obsession. What band do you think is overrated? Which band do you think is underrated? And then which band do you think is misunderstood? And then I'm going to share with you some just takeaways from what my colleagues came up with. So, my opinion, the best band of all time is the Beatles. And I'm purposely showing this anthology. This is anthology 1, and I'm lucky enough to have it just as like a question. Do we need another anthology? Just wondering, just a question. But the Beatles have to be regarded as the best band of all time. In the 7 years that they recorded, they were incredibly prolific. If you went from Please Please Me all the way to the Abbey Road record, it's just an astounding amount of growth. The greatest band of all time, the only band that matters, is this band, The Clash. And this is my childhood version, my 10-inch new disc. I didn't even know I realized. And there are some B-sides and some tracks that were omitted from the UK version of the Clash album. Pressure Drops on here, Time is Tight, which are great Mick Jones arrangements. But for me, Bank Robber, Dub, and Bank Robber, and Armageddon Time, and then Justice and I Kick It Over just was revelatory to me as a non-reggae person. And I'm like, this was one of the reasons why easily the Clash is the greatest band of all time. And then it turns out there's a 12-inch version of it. And then a few years ago, they made this version, which is 3 10-inches, which basically takes all the tracks that were missing on the other albums. It's kind of like their anthology. Starts in 1977, Protex Blue, and then ends up with Mustafa Dance. This is Radio Clash, The Magnificent Dance. So, best band is the Beatles. Greatest band is the Clash. But my favorite band, and I'm cheating, I'm going to show an American band, is this band, The Replacements. This is the greatest, or my favorite American band. And yeah, not too many records, short time together. It's just, there's so much to say about this. And this is the box set that has the live disc, which they came out with on LP, and then the Ed Stasium mix. So it's absolutely, but the Replacements are my favorite American band. And then my favorite Brit band is Suede, here listed as London Suede. I guess this is one of the 500 that was available for Record Store Day. This one I got. I'm the lone Suede fan in my community, apparently. So, best band of all time, the Beatles. Greatest band of all time, the Clash. Favorite band, the Replacements and Suede. But a current obsession of mine is this band, the Grateful Dead. And for the longest time, I kind of disregarded the Grateful Dead, and it's just because of some experiences I had working their shows that weren't particularly pleasant. But the song that I became obsessed with is this song, Scarlet Begonias. And by the way, I think this mid-70s record is excellent. This is the one to get. And then Scarlet Begonias, but of course, I heard the Cornell version, and no, I don't have the box set. I have this Italian bootleg, and yes, they do cut off Scarlet Begonias, but Scarlet Begonias, Going into Fire on the Mountain, just was like, I had to hear as many versions of that as possible. So I just been playing it over and over and over again. I've been fumbling through it on the guitar, trying to figure out a version of it. And then I did pick up this box set from 77. The show's right around Cornell. And this one is the one in New Haven, Connecticut. And again, there it is, Scarlet Begonia, Going into Fire on the Mountain. So current obsession is the Dead's Scarlet Begonia. That whole 1977, May 77 period is kind of an obsession of mine. And then overrated, again, any band can be probably chosen. I choose this one. I'm sorry. Every Record Store Day, in fact, I think they had an unorchestrated version of this, a Record Store Day a few years ago. But anybody who says the Doors are the greatest band of all time needs to play this record. And the song Touch Me, and I believe it's a Robbie Krieger song, Touch Me, Yes, and tell me that this is the greatest band of all time or the best band of all time. I'm sorry. They're overrated. And then underrated is this guy, Ozzy. I think sometimes that there's a cliche associated with Ozzy because of some of the behavior and some of the drug use and some of the antics and all that. But his voice is unbelievable. And every time I hear it, and I just recently repurchased Sabotage and Volume 4, and I've been playing him, and it's like his voice, it's just got this crystal clearness, and he's got so much range and power. I think Ozzy is hugely underrated as a vocalist. It's a cool compilation. I don't have I'm not going to drop the cash for Osmosis and No More Tears at the moment, but Ozzy, underrated. And then misunderstood, I give you this band, the Pistols. They're a rock and roll band. Yes, they came out in the punk world, but listen to this. Double, I call it double A-side single, where you have Pretty Vacant and Submission are two killer rock and roll tracks. This is an original 77 American version, but it's such a great band, and they're not this caricature that they were made out to be. And I know those 78 live ones with Sid. Sid didn't even really play on these records. There's so many great songs on here. Many of you know Pretty Vacant, God Save the Queen, Submission, Problems, Anarchy. I mean, there's just so many good. They were a great rock and roll band. I think they're misunderstood. They're another band that's kind of caricatured because of this kind of stuff. And I'm not showing up some product. I refuse to buy it. But, you know, like this Who Killed Bambi and the kind of Malcolm McLaren pastiche kind of stuff. So that's who I think is a misunderstood band. So Best band of all time, Beatles. Greatest band of all time, The Clash. A favorite band, American Replacements, English, Suede. Just current obsession, 77 Dead with Scarlet Begonia. Overrated, The Doors. Underrated, Ozzy's voice. And then misunderstood, The Pistols. But what I think is interesting is my colleagues. Again, their range of age is 30s to 50s. So 4 in their 30s, 4 in their 40s, 2 in the 50s. I pick people who are music obsessive, talk music all the time, and go. So 10 participants total. 5 of them, of the 10, picked this band as the best band of all time. The Beatles. And again, anthology 2. Do we need another anthology? We've got all these extra tracks on Revolver box set, White Album, on the Let It Be, on the Abbey Road, on the Sgt. Pepper. We don't need another anthology. Okay, so 5 of them picked the Beatles as their best. We had another person pick Pink Floyd. This is kind of a cool one. This is on Columbia EMI, but I believe this is Dutch. It's all of the Sid era singles. So on the side, Apples and Oranges, It Would Be Nice, which is a Richard Wright song. Paint Box, another Roger Waters, Julia Dreams, See Emily Play. Love the cover. So another one person picked that. 2 people picked Springsteen. I think I've shown these before. So happy to find this. This is Springsteen, Alpine Valley, Born in the USA Tour, 1984. The first Bruce concert I ever went to. This is an incredible concert. So 2 people picked Bruce Springsteen. 1 person picked The Dead, Live 69. This is the last kind of gasp of their psychedelic era. I do love the artwork on this. It's just a great record. Dark Star, entire side, St. Stephen, 11. Cool. So that was that. And then in terms of the greatest band, again, I had 10 colleagues. 3 of them picked Led Zeppelin. And when I had CDs and cassettes, I had a bunch of Zeppelin bootlegs. Not the biggest Zeppelin fan on the planet, but this is a must-have. The How the West Was Won. I didn't even know this was available on vinyl until I accidentally stumbled upon it. This is LA Forum, Sunday the 25th of June, 1975, and then Long Beach Arena, Tuesday the 27th of June, 1975. And so this is just an incredibly cleaned up semi-bootleg, in a sense. 3 people picked the Stones then. And again, I love this era of the Stones. Get Your Ya-Ya's Out came out on Record Store Day a couple years ago. But before that came out was this bootleg, which is louder than I ever be. This is a bootleg of that from the same era. Great concert. I love bootlegs from this era, by the way. They're so low budget. They don't get all fancy, even like that Springsteen one I just showed you. So it's Carol, Gimme Shelter, Sympathy for the Devil, I'm Free, Between the Sheets, which is not the name of that song. You guys know that one. It's Live in Vain. Or Live With Me, Love in Vain, Midnight Rambler, Queenie, Honky Tonk Women, Street Fighting Man. So 3 people picked the Stones. Now, favorite band. Oh, and then 1 person picked, the greatest picked Stevie Wonder. I love the fact that somebody broke out of the White Rock canon. It's probably my favorite. Stevie, 2 High Visions, Living for the City, and Golden Lady, and then Higher Ground. This is such a great album. Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions. And then one of those folks picked Nirvana. This was such a sad way to end, or a brilliant way to end. And then just to jump in, and then there were 11 different favorites. Bon Iver, Head in the Heart, Dave Matthews Band, Bowie, Aerosmith, Fish, etc. And then a bunch of different current obsessions. But overrated, which was interesting, was 2 people picked the Beatles. Yes, this is Anthology 3. I can kind of see why some feel that way. I mean, if you're only listening to certain tracks. And then 2 people picked this band, which could have easily been on my overrated list. This album symbolizes everything that's wrong with this band. If anybody's still watching this video, be love to hear somebody say differently. I was in a record store the other day and his dad was trying to get his son to buy Hotel California, telling him it was the greatest record of all time. I kept my mouth shut. I've heard people in this VC talk about it as well. No, thank you. Eagles overrated. And then one of the ones that's funny too, and I think I can understand it, is U2. A couple of votes for overrated. And this came out, U2 Songs of Surrender, when Bono's autobiography came out, Surrender. And it's re-recording of a lot of their songs done acoustic. Many really hated this record. I love it. Actually, I think it's really good. It was a good way for me to hear some of their music. I don't really have U2-wise. I kind of stopped buying U2 records at one point in time. So I'd be interested in everybody's comments. What do you guys think? It's a fun thing to do with your friends. You know, what's the best band of all time? What's the greatest band of all time? What's your favorite band of all time? What are you currently obsessed with music-wise? What band do you think is overrated? Which band do you think is underrated? And then finally, which band is just simply misunderstood? It's a fun activity. It's a great question. Is there an answer? Of course not. It's all subjective, but it's all about the music. So, peace.